Hello everyone, welcome to Ajiro Tech. Mm-hmm. Ajiro Tech. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Cambridge IGCSE Information and Communication Technology with the course code 0417. Paper 1 theory, and we're looking at the first variant of paper 1, 11, which is 1 1. Okay, 1 for paper 1, 1 of the first variant, right? May, June 2024. Total duration of the paper is 1 hour 30 minutes. But please take note, this is going to be a detailed video because I will be teaching you, not just solving a past paper. Okay, I will be teaching you and not just solving a past paper. I'll be teaching you and not solving a past paper. So I'm going to begin by being a good student, and I'm going to write my name in the candidate name section. Okay, and my center number is going to be AN, and this is a generic center number, and my candidate number is going to be 2024. Okay, please, the instructions are very important, so please go to the instruction. You can see I'm using a blue pen. Okay, so you're either using a black pen or a blue pen. Okay, so that's very, very important. Okay, the total mark for this paper is 80. Okay, so let's proceed to question 1. Circle 2 internal hardware component. Okay, so this is chapter 1, types and components of computer systems. Okay, so remember, hardware is a physical component that makes up a typical computer, and we have the internal and we have the external. So the internal are the ones that are found inside the system unit. Hope that makes sense. That the ones that are found inside. Actuators are not found inside. Okay, rather they are mechanical devices that carry out the physical what action. Cloud, right? Okay, so let's talk about cloud computing. Let's know this is not geography or or agric or whatever, right? So cloud computing, when we store information into remote servers, right? So this is not internal. DVD, this is for optical storage devices and media. Okay, HDD for magnetic. Okay, motherboard, yes, so I'm going to circle this. Printers are output devices, no. Read only memory, ROM, yes, they are found inside, right, the system unit. Okay, and the SD card, which is your secure digital card, is a type of memory card, so this is a no. Okay, this is a no. Okay, so hope this is explained. All right, complete each of the following sentences. So let's complete each of the following sentences. The A part is the scrambling of data being sent from one device to another device. Scrambling. When something is scrambling, it simply means that is unreadable. It's useless to anybody that will have access to it. And that is what we mean by what we call encryption. Right? Encryption. Okay. And you will see this in chapter 8. Okay. Chapter 8 of the textbook, which is what? Safety and security. Okay, I think I can do the honors by just quickly showing you where you can actually find all this. So it makes our work easy for us. Okay, so let me show you here so you can actually find it. You see it yourself. Okay, so you see encryption here. So yes, this is it. You can see that. Okay, a secret key that has the capability of what? Altering. Okay, altering the characters in a message. Okay, so please, this is very important. So it's seen as what? Scrambling. All right, so let's move on. Using a computer to maintain the temperature of a room is called, okay, using a computer to maintain the temperature. Now this is very important, and I will show you where you see it. You see this. Now you see this in chapter 1. I know it seems tricky, but you see it in chapter 1. Okay, let's go to, and I'll show you where you see it. Under the types of application software. Yes, types of application software. That's where you see this. Okay. Yes, you see here. Under what? Where is it? Application. Yes, right here. Now you see it here. Under what? The control. Look at it, right? So here, the control is what? They compare as much as possible. So when we talk about using a computer to maintain the temperature of a room, we call it the control software. You can see that it's designed to allow a computer or to interface with sensor such as it is possible to measure. That's for measurement software. The control applications by comparing sensors and such as that. Of course, you know that temperature is one of the sensor there. We have the pressure sensor as much as possible. We have the pH what sensor. Okay, so please take note of that. So we have the control. Okay, so here you see that in chapter 1. Okay, types and component. So let me just, right, you get the idea. Unauthorized access to a computer system is called hacking, right? When you have an unauthorized access to a computer system, right? And it could be to cause damage or to copy anything. So this is chapter 8, safety and security. And this is always why, and this is the reason why Ajiro Tech is one of the best IGCSE ICT YouTube channel ever, because we don't just solve a past paper, we also show you citations of where you can actually have it from the textbook. Okay, a conversation between a system analyst and a member of staff that is part of the analysis is called. Now when you're having a conversation between the system analyst and a member of staff that's part of the analysis, you're looking at what? Chapter 7, the system life cycle. But under the system life cycle, we have method of analyzing what? The coin system. What are the method of analyzing the coin system? We have observation, we have questionnaires, we have looking at existing system, and we have the very important thing here, we have interview. Okay, so this is chapter what? 7, the system's life cycle. Question 3. Roger is a 16-year-old student who is setting up a password for his computer. He's a 16-year-old student who is setting up a password for his computer. He has 4 ideas for the password he may use. Select the most appropriate password from the list and give reason for your choice. Now, we were talking about passwords, and I'm going to show you here from the textbook. So you can tell me in the comment section why that is. And you will see this in chapter 8 of the textbook. Although it's still mentioned in chapter 4, but you see it explained in chapter 8. Okay, safety and security. I want to go there so we can click on it. So under the security, we can see other protection of data. Okay. Now you see this. Okay. Now let's look at this. And now let's go back to this. They said password should not be easy to break. For example, your favorite color, name of pet, passwords are grouped. They are grouped as either strong, hard to break or guess, or weak. It is possible to make a password strong, but should also be easy to remember. So let's use what should a strong password contain. So a strong password should contain this: one capital letter, one numeric value, other keyboard characters. Now let's go back to this. Now looking at this, what do you think should be Roger's appropriate passwords from the list? Okay, so now this is what I'm going to choose: 6 L O 8 and N. Okay, and the reason for this is it is a strong password. Right? It is hard to guess. Now we could have others where we could say not directly relating to what personal details. That's very important. And we looked at it here. They said what should not be easy to break, right? And for example, your favorite color, name of pet, or favorite musicians, they are, and we have them grouped into 2 categories. So it should not be something that relates to you that is personal. Okay, should not be something that relates to you that is personal. Okay, so not related, not directly related. Okay, to what personal what details. Okay, so that's very important, and it's not in any sequence. Okay, so state one way of avoiding password interception. Okay, one way of avoiding it is when you change your password regularly. Look at it. Changing password on a regular basis in case it has come into possession of another user illegally or accidentally. So one way to avoid password interception is you changing. So we're having the answers there. Changing password regularly. Okay, that's one. Okay, which is the only thing they want here. So this is chapter 8. Did I give the chapter where this is from? Okay, so let me give this as well. Chapter 8, safety and security. Okay, so chapter 8, safety and security. Okay, so for others, I think I just have one more. Okay, one more is beware of shoulder surfing, right? Beware of what? Shoulder Don't type in your password where people can look directly to what you're typing. Okay. And beware of people listening in. Okay. Is dropping. So beware of that. Question 4. There are risks involved when using social networking sites. Describe 4 strategies you could use to minimize the risk of using social networking sites to make new friends. So you have to describe 4 strategies you could use to minimize the risk of using social networking sites to make new friends. And you will see this in chapter 8 as well. Safety and security. And you see this under what? E-safety. And we have 4 of them: using the internet, sending and receiving emails, online gaming, and social networking sites. So I have them here. So let me just show you. Right here. So the following list shows some of the dangers and ways to protect yourself. Okay. So the first one here is always maintain privacy settings to stop non-friends from contacting you. Don't post photos of yourself in some kind of uniform. Okay. Make sure to use privacy settings. Now let's look at the question here. They said, first strategy you could use to minimize the risk of using social networking friends to sites to make new friends. Okay. So these are people that you have not seen in real life. Okay. So my number one strategy, and I'm giving to you right now, my number one strategy. Most of you are looking for my strategy, so let me give you my strategy. Okay. Is this one right here. It is very extremely important to be very vigilant when you use social networking sites, instant messaging, or chat rooms. Block, and I repeat, block or report anybody who acts or suspiciously or uses inappropriate word language. So what I do to minimize, right, the risk to make new friends is I block, right? Okay. I block and report. I don't just block. I will block you and I will report you. Okay. Unwanted. Okay. Users. I just block you and report you instantly. Okay. All right. And again, this is very important. Okay. Never arrange to meet anyone on your own. Always tell an adult first and meet the person in a public what place. Okay. So it is very important that do not meet an online. It's not a safe space there. An online contact face to face. Okay. And if you intend to meet them, right? Look at it here. They said always. Okay. Always tell an adult. Okay. If you plan to meet in person, and very important, and what should be in a public place. In a public place. Don't go and meet somebody in their house. He's harmless. She's harmless. No, don't. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's very, very important. Keep your personal data's private. And I talked about that. Okay, keep your personal, they say, do not, of course, don't enter that. So keep your, always maintain privacy what settings. Always maintain um, privacy settings to stop non-friends from contacting you, and also make sure you control who has access to your profile. Okay, always maintain privacy settings. Okay, and control who can access your profile. Okay, very important. All right, the next one is be very careful with the language. Okay, and in fact, use this is, I think I'm just going to go with this. Always respect people's confidentiality. Very important. Okay, respect people's privacy. Very important. Always. Okay, of new friends. So we're relating it to the question of new friends. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, never reveal personal images. Don't put in photos of yourself in some kind of uniform that they can identify you by, because these are people that you have not seen. Okay, so all these options here are very key, right? Don't give out your personal information to people you don't know. So don't give out. Okay, that's why you have to keep your personal details private. Don't give out personal information to people you don't know. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, hope that is helpful. One benefit of using command line is that it uses less computer memory. State two other benefits of computer command line. Okay, so let's take the benefit of command line interface. Now you see this in chapter 1. Okay, chapter 1, types and components. Okay, of what? The computer system. And under this, you are looking at what? User interface. Okay, we're looking at user interface. So under user interface, we're having command line. Okay, so let's look at the benefits of doing this, right? So other benefits for the command line is that we are interacting directly. Okay, we're interacting directly with the computer. And let me show you here. See here. Okay, good. The user is in direct communication with the computer. Okay. Okay. Direct communication with the computer. So which is very useful for computer professionals. Okay. And again, you can see that the user is not restricted to a number of predetermined what options. That's a benefit, right? It doesn't even require any high resolution monitors. Doesn't even need that. Okay. The user is not restricted. Users are not restricted to a number of predetermined options. Predetermined what? Options. Okay. State two other types of user interfaces. Okay, we talked about them, so I'm just going to show you so you see it for you see it by yourself. So this is it. So you can pick anyone here, right? So we have the graphical user interface, graphical, okay, and we have dialogue base. Okay, so the graphical user interface and the dialogue based interface. Okay, so let me just make it like that. Okay, so we also have the gesture based user interface. Okay, so those are other ones. Question 6. Many organizations use audio conferencing or video conferencing as some employee work from home. So this is chapter 4. Okay, networks and the effects of using them. Discuss the advantage and disadvantage of using audio conferencing rather than video conferencing. Okay, so let's talk about this. And how many marks is this? 6 marks, which is the highest mark for paper 1. Okay, so the highest mark for paper 1 is 6 marks. Now, our focus is audio conferencing rather than video conferencing. Now, chapter 4, look at it here. Good. Okay, I think after this. Yes. So the whole idea for video conferencing is we have conferences that are held using audio only. Okay, in such a way that the organizer will obtain 2 pins, one for starting the meeting and for the other for the participants to actually join in. Okay, so here you can use your computer. Okay, it can be electronic. And now when we talk about the advantage, now you for the video conferencing, right? There is a conference room with the following piece of hardware that is being set up: your webcam, your large monitor, microphone, and speakers. Now, when we talk about the advantage for both of them is, so let's look at the advantage. So 3 advantage or 4 advantage and 2 disadvantage. So advantages, the first thing I want to talk about is you can do other tasks because it's audio. Nobody's seeing you. You can just connect your mic and probably you are in the kitchen. You're having your bread. Okay, preparing your bread, your buttered bread. Having some coffee, preparing for breakfast, and you said, yeah, that's good. Okay, so I think the gross of everything should be about 1.3 million pounds, and you're having a good time in the meeting. Like, that's good. You're active in the meeting, and what do you know? You're in the kitchen preparing for breakfast. Or what's better, and this is the reason why I tell myself on their cameras, because it gives me the idea to see what they're actually doing. Because you can be playing a video game. I'm like, okay, sir, I'm with you, I'm getting it. We have some facilitators like that, and they're listening to me. They will mute. No, no. Okay, I want to see what you're doing. Okay, so yes, can do other tasks. Can do other tasks. Okay, as there is no camera. Okay, and that simply means that you cannot be seen, right? As there's no camera. All right, and also there is no issue with lip sync. Okay, we usually when your video is turned on and there is there is that lag, internet lag, right? That network lag, you find out that most time there's issue with lip syncing because your lip is saying something else and the audio is saying something else. Okay, especially when the network is unstable. Okay, so no issue because this is just audio. There is no issue, no issue with lip sync. Okay, the next one is less equipment. It's just audio, just you getting your phone, your telephone to join in, or if it's electronic kind of, right, you can join in with your smartphone. Okay, so it's less equipment. Unlike the video conferencing where you have to get your webcam, you have to get your speaker, you have to get your microphone separately. But here there's less equipment is required. Okay, which makes it cheaper. Okay, um can we do one more? Let's say many organizations uses audio or video conferencing as some employees work from home. So I think between the video and audio conferencing, the audio conferencing is a simpler interface for every employee. So I think I can put that in a simpler interface. Okay, for employees. Okay, so let's look at um disadvantages. So for disadvantages, okay, disadvantages is okay. One thing I want to talk about is when people are actually communicating or making a point. Since it's audio, can you see body language? No, you cannot see the body language of the people in the conference. You can't see if they're actually how they are expressing themselves. What you can just hear is just their tone, right? So you cannot see. That's its advantage. Cannot see the body language. Okay, of the employees in the conference. Okay, so we're going back to the question again. Okay. Another one is cannot tell if the employee is paying attention. That's another thing. It cannot tell. I talked about that. If they're actually paying attention to the meeting or their mind is somewhere else. Cannot tell if the employee are what? Paying attention. Okay, for others, we can say it's less personal or more or less harder to control. Harder to control the meeting. as as you do not as you do not know who is speaking next. So everybody can just be speaking the next, and we find it quite difficult to control. Okay. And there are fewer features for the audio. There are fewer features than the video conferencing, right? For example, you can't see any form of visual aid, you can't see any form of documentation or all those things. So there are fewer features. Okay. Fewer features, okay, than audio conferencing. Okay. Question 7. An organization has provided laptop for its sales team to use when working at home and in the office. Now, the question is, give two benefits to the employee of using this laptop for their work. Okay. And this will be very easy. Let's look at it. As provided laptop for sales, okay, when working at home, give two benefits to the employee of using this laptop for their work. Okay. Okay, so this covers a lot because we're looking at so many things here. Okay. Um, we're looking at security issues, which is chapter 8. We're looking at laptop itself, which is chapter 1. So it's cutting across. Okay, so it's more or less like this question is more or less like they're all applicable questions, but it's more or less like you've gone through the textbook. Okay, so what this is more or less like a practical kind of question. Okay, what are the benefits of using of this laptop for their work? Okay, you're using it at work and you're using it in office. Okay, to use when at home and in the office. Okay, so you're using the same thing. Now, one of the benefits is the fact that does not require any form of external storage devices. Okay, when transferring data to and fro, because you already have one laptop. You already have one laptop that you're using at work, and you're using at home, and you're also using in the office. Okay, so I'm going to put that down. Okay, so it does not require any form of external storage, unlike some organizations that will have their own laptop, office laptop, and you have your own personal laptop at home. So you don't use your personal laptop in the office. They have their own office laptop. So what if you want to continue to work at home, you might have to use probably like what we call it telnet to actually access it, or you might have to just copy the work. Okay, so does not require, and that's the reason I'm not putting a chapter there. Does not require the use of what? External storage devices when transferring data to and from the office. Okay. Now, another benefit is it will only be used by the employee. Okay. So that can improve a kind of security. Okay. And another way, benefit to the employee, okay, is of using this laptop for their work. So we're looking at it from the employee perspective, is the fact that, okay, now employee don't need to buy a laptop. That will save money. Literally, let's go with that basic ideology, right? So again, employee don't have does not have to use his, or since we don't know the gender, her own equipment, okay, which saves which saves money for the employee. Okay, now I talked about for others, so I can just call this maybe benefit 3, is the fact that would only be used by the what? Employee. Okay, therefore improves what? Security. Okay, give two issues that may arise from providing employees with this laptop. Okay, what are the issues when you are providing employees with this laptop? The laptop can be stolen. That's the first thing. Laptop can be stolen. It can be lost. Okay, because you're going from office from home. Yes. Another one is so the issues that may arise from providing employees with this laptop is the fact that data can also be used for other work. Okay, so this device could be used for other what? Personal activities. Okay, of course this would cause any form of security problems. Okay, all right. The network manager of the organization has been asked to record the details of the employee who has been provided with laptop. The network manager decided to produce an online data capture form. Describe the main design features that should be considered to make the online data capture form easy to complete accurately. So yes, this is chapter 7. Chapter 7, the system life cycle, and I'll tell you where you find it. The systems life cycle. Okay, and you find this in the design phase under the output format. Okay, under the output format, we are talking about your report layout. Okay, so one way we can do this is when we are using this method, right, for the report. Let me show you something. You find this right here. Okay, so there's a form of, here you can see the output format that is going to show, but here for the data capture format, for the electronic form, where's the electronic form? The computer bit is slightly different and often have the following features. So there's video button, there is control button like a navigation button, and then on-screen help. Okay, all these things are very important. So I'm just going to do this because this is more or less like the app. So I'll just put data capture form and the electronic. So data capture form. data capture form. Okay, the electronic own. So let's look at it. How many marks is this? 4 marks. So let's start with the first one is navigation button, which is your control buttons. And you see it here, control buttons, okay, to move, okay, to the next page. That navigation buttons are part of your control buttons. Okay, the next one is help, right here, on screen help when completing the form. So we have the on screen help, on screen help button to get help with filling in the form. Now another one is drop down, use of drop down boxes when there are limited choices. Okay, drop down, drop down boxes. Okay, where there are limited choices. Okay, the next one is the use of radio buttons. Okay, use of radio buttons. Okay, use of radio buttons. Okay, for gender. Okay, for others it can be font size to make it easier to read. Okay, it could be font style to make it easier to read. Okay, to make it easier to read. Okay, another one could be good use of the white spaces. Good use of the white spaces. Okay, the employees are given a list of strategies to follow to reduce the health risk of using laptop. State 4 strategies that could be included, okay, in the list. So number one, the continued use of typing could cause what we call a repetitive strain injury. So one way to be able to reduce, okay, so this is going to be chapter 5, okay, the effects of using IT. Okay, so one way could be the use of risk. Okay, and when you are sitting for too long, you can use a footrest, and you can also use what we call, you can use hand economic, okay, can use an economic chair. You can also use an economic mouse. You can also use an economic keyboard. All these are very important. Okay. You can maintain a correct posture when you are sitting for too long. Okay. This is important in maintaining a correct posture is when you are the height of the, let me show you here. I think that's part of eye strain. So let me do this. Okay, I think I have it. I think I have it here. Mm, okay, headache. Yes, back and neck strain. Yes. Where is it, when you're using the back and neck strain, when you are sitting in front of the computer. So maintaining a good posture is very important. And you can use what we call a footrest. Okay, you can use a footrest to reduce posture problem. So maintain correct posture. Okay, and also very important for headaches, which is caused by incorrect lighting, is ensure, right, you can use anti-glare screens. That's also one of them. You can use the anti-glare screen. um, you can ensure the room lighting matches the screen brightness. Cool, right? So you can ensure the room lighting matches the screen brightness. Okay, so very important. Question 8. Virtual reality can be used when training for sports. Okay, when training for sports, state two other use of virtual reality. Okay, first one I can think of is gaming. Okay, and another one is, let me check. Okay, so I haven't, of course, this is chapter 1. Okay, so this right here is chapter 1. Okay, types and components of computer systems, and here you see it under what? Extended reality. Okay, extended reality. So here is coming, let me move this a bit. Move this a bit. Virtual reality. So uses of the virtual reality. So here you can have it in okay, gaming, which is entertainment. You can have it also for scientific evaluation, visualization rather, part of a molecular structure in chemistry or a cell in biology. You can do fashion shows. Okay, healthcare diagnosis tools to recommend treatment. Okay, I've talked about entertainment, games. Okay, training to operate a new tank. Okay, so example could be training to operate a new tank, military applications, training to operate a new tank. Here is seen as coming entertainment. Okay, so under entertainment, you have games, gaming. Okay, okay. So gaming, you can use your headset, your VR goggles to actually participate for it. Okay. Discuss the impact of virtual reality on everyday life. Impact on everyday life. So let's talk about it. And how many marks is this? This is 6 marks. So when we talk about the impact, we are talking about the impact. We're talking about the first one is allow training. Okay, allows training in dangerous situations. That's for military, where it is impossible to practice the real thing. Okay, it allows people to retain knowledge much better than reading about it in a book. Another one is it gives people a kind of, you can be trained in a virtual environment without risk to themselves, right? People can be trained in a virtual environment without risk to themselves. Okay, so all these are right here. Okay, they're all right here. What else can I add here is now another thing about the virtual reality is the fact that designs can be modified. Okay, quickly. Okay, therefore better objects can be made. And also when we talk about the impact, when we talk about the negative aspect, it can be, it can become addictive to gaming with this. Is people Now they are always virtual. They don't want to relate to people in the real world. They prefer the unreal world. Okay, so it can become addictive. So please be very careful. Can become addictive, can become addicted to gaming with this system. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can also cause, please take note, it can also cause headaches, can causes headache, okay, motion sickness, okay, and even falling over if you're not careful. That's why it's always good to sit in a place. All right. An expert system can be used to diagnose problems. Explain the following component of an expert system. And this is chapter 6. Okay. ICT applications. So here we're having the user interface. We are having the inference engine, explanation system, the rule base, okay, the knowledge base, and then the rule base. Okay, let me show you where you find this. Six 6.8. Okay, so you see this right here. So you have the user interface, inference engine, explanation system, knowledge base, and then the rule base. And now they want to talk about the rule base. Now, for the rule base, they said explain the following component of an expert system. And we're looking at the rule base. Now, this is a set of what? Inference rules. So, yes, set of what? Inference rules. That's the first one. And this one is, it is used by the inference engine to draw conclusions. Used by the inference, which is like a search engine, to draw conclusions. Okay. The next one is that they follow logical thinking, like the example, they follow logical what? Thinking, which involves a series of if statements. They follow what? Logical thinking. Follow logical thinking, which involves a series of if statement. Okay. Inference engine. Now, for the inference engine, is the main processing element of the expert system. Main processing element of the expert system. Okay. And what else? It acts like a search engine. Acts like a search engine. Okay. Examining the knowledge base. okay, for information that matches the queries. What else? It is the problem solving part of the expert system. It is the problem solving part of the expert system. Okay, which makes of the inference rules in the rule base. So the whole idea, and I want to explain this, is in the user interface, the expert system interacts with the user to the user interface, and there's usually a yes or no sections where the user is able to interact, and of course there are questions based on previous responses. Okay, now the inference engine is going to search the knowledge base, looking for the symptoms that would match what that user is currently having, and there are set of rules, okay, that have been set, protocols that have been set, okay, for this expert system. Once those conclusions have been derived, this is where the explanation system is going to now explain the reason for this conclusion back to what the user interface. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Question 10. An autonomous vehicle uses an automated braking system. There is a sensor at the front of the vehicle to measure the distance between the vehicle and the obstacle. The brakes are applied within the vehicle when the vehicle gets close to the obstacle. So autonomous vehicles are driverless vehicles. Okay. Describe the use of the microprocessor in the automated braking system. Now you see this in chapter 5. Okay. The effects of using IT, and you see it in autonomous vehicle. Let me show you right here. Autonomous vehicle. Okay. Chapter 5, autonomous vehicle. I think the information I'm looking is no, it's right here. Yes. Now in autonomous cars, buses, and van, okay, so it makes use of the sensor, cameras, okay, actuators. Now the actuators, what it does is to perform the physical action, okay, and your cameras are like your eyes and ears of the car. The sensor on the other one will just it has the radar and ultrasonic on it. So what happens really here is this, and I will explain this, is that what happens here is that the microprocessor is going to receive the data, and receiving the data from the sensor. Remember, the camera and the sensor are working hand in hand, okay, because the camera is the one that is the eyes and ears of the car. Okay, so what happens there is that the microprocessor would receive the data, okay, now a preset value of the distance. Remember, they say what? To measure the distance between the vehicle and obstacle. So the preset value of the distance is stored in the what? Microprocessor. Please remember that we have, I want to show you this. We have the sensor here. Then we have ADC. Then we have the microprocessor. Okay, we have DAC, and then we have the actuator. So this is the structure. This right here is the structure. So it's very important. Okay, it's very important that you pay attention to this. Okay, so a preset value of the distance is stored in the microprocessor. Now what happens? The microprocessor would compares what? The data, okay, to what? The minimum what? Distance, to the what? The preset value. Let's use that. Since we have talked about it, to the what? The preset value. Okay, so if the data is less than the what? Preset value, okay, the microprocessor send what? A signal to what? The actuator. Okay, now remember, what is the actuator doing? It's performing physical action like change the gear, apply the brake, turn the steering wheel, stop the car, etc., etc. Okay, send a signal to the actuator. What? Applies what? In this case, applies the brake. If the data is more than the preset value, okay, the microprocessor does what? Nothing. And this process, please take note, is what? Continuous. Because the microprocessor is continuously scanning, comparing. Okay, so there's a sensor in front of the vehicle to measure the distance. So if that distance is less, okay, that means it's getting very close, apply the brake. Once you just apply the brake. But if the distance is more than that preset value, it do nothing now. Let's say if the distance between here to that obstacle is within between let's say one meter, right? Or let's say between 5 centimeters. Once it gets to, if it's less than 5 centimeters, to apply the brake. But if it's like 10 centimeters, it will do nothing. Okay, so hope that is understood. A company is designing a new computer system. After the system has been created and tested, okay, it will be implemented. Compare parallel running and direct changeover. Compare parallel running and direct changeover. Your answer should include both similarities and differences. So you're going to see this in chapter 7, the systems life cycle. Okay, and then here we have implementation. Okay, so now in the implementation, let's look at similarities between parallel running and direct changeover. Similarities. So what are these similarities? They are both methods of implementation. Yes. They are both methods of implementation. Okay. And both of them involves changing of the whole system, changing of the whole of changing involve changing of the whole of the old system, okay, to a new system. Why this one is immediate, this one both systems are running for a period of time before the old one is completely removed. Okay, so now let's look at the difference. This is 4 marks. So probably one difference from so 2 for similarities, 2 for differences. Okay, so let's do this. So for differences, so I have so let me do yes parallel running. Okay, so with parallel running, both systems operate together. Operate together until the old one is removed. Why with direct changeover, with direct changeover, the new system is implemented immediately. Okay, another one with let me get it. I know that from the direct changeover, the benefits are immediate, but I just want to add one more here with it. Implementation, documentation, test. Yes. Okay. So benefits are immediate. Okay. Then why the parallel? It is possible to train to gradually train staff. Okay, so we can go with that. Okay. So with the parallel running, the changeover is safer as the old system is still operating for a while. Okay. Why with direct changeover, okay, costs are reduced, okay, as only one set of staffs, one set of staffs needs to be employed. So we're just looking at the difference between both of them. So while we are using this to look at it, we see that the old systems, so if the system fails, but again for direct changeover, so you can see that costs are reduced as what? Only one system is used. So there's no need to pay. And we can see that all the old ones are being used, okay? And the benefits for direct is what? Immediate, while both of them can still be used until the old one is removed. Okay? There is new software in this computer that has to be evaluated. Describe what needs to be considered when evaluating a new software. So this is also chapter 7, the systems life cycle. And here we're looking at what? Evaluation. This is where maintenance is also carried out. So take note of that. Okay, so let me show you for evaluation what needs to be evaluated. Look at it, right? So here you compare the final solution with the original task, identify any limitation of the system. Okay, so and then identify any necessary improvement that has to be made. So they said the new software in this computer has to be evaluated. Describe what needs to be considered when evaluating the new software. So number one here, compare the final solution. The final solution with the original task. Okay. The next one is identify any limitation of the system. Identify any limitation of the system. In this case, it's going to be the software. Identify any necessary improvement that needs to be made. So identify any necessary improvement that need to be made. Okay. And then another one is you can also compare performance of the new software with the old software. Compare performance of the new software, okay, with the performance of the old software. All right. One of the threats of personal data is credit card cloning. Okay, so you see this in chapter 8, safety and security. Explain what is meant by credit card cloning. And I'll tell you what it means. So we use what we call a schema. Let me get it for you. Somewhere here. Yes. After your shoulder softening is card cloning. So we use what we call a schema. Okay. So is the copying of what credit card or debit card using a magnetic stripe. Okay. So that's what it means. Okay. So it is the copying of credit card which uses credit card cloning, uses magnetic stripe, okay, with an electronic device known as schema. Okay, so it is a type of what credit card what theft. Okay, it and all is which uses what the copying which is unauthorized, a type of credit card theft. Okay, and what again? Okay, and also it uses a this electronic device called a schema which copying credit card. Okay, it uses this and then a digital copy of the credit card is made with data placed on a new blank card. One security improvement of this type of threat is the use of contactless card. Give two other security improvements that can be made to help reduce this type of threat. Okay, the use of PIN. Okay, so use of PIN is called personal identification number. That's ways to protect our data once we've seen this threat. Okay, another one is you can also inspect the credit card reader you are using. You can inspect it. Okay, you can inspect it. That's one way. the credit card reader you are using. Okay. You can also use the third-party electronic payment system. That can also help you. You can sign up for text alert for your account. So anytime you are debited, you're being sent an alert. That's on that way to improve, but that would not solve the heartbreak. Okay. Okay. So that would really help you. Okay. So you can actually, I think I will just put this for others. Okay. You can use third party. Okay. Or your smart electronic payment system. Okay. All right. So this is also chapter 8. I know most of you be waiting. This is also chapter 8. Chapter 8, safety and security. All right. Question 13. A new patient is attending a medical center. He completes a form with his detail and gives this to the secretary who enters the details into the database. The secretary carefully checks the detail entered into the database with those on the form. State what this process is called. Now, this is chapter 15. Proofing. And we call this visual check. Visual what? Verification. Double data entries when you are entering the data twice. The medical center follows a data protection act, so the patient's data is protected by law. State 4 principles. Okay, state 4 principles of the Atypical Data Protection Act. Now, this is chapter 8, safety and security. And this is what? E-safety. Now, let me go up. Let's go up to where we have it. So look at it right here. So these are the 8 of them that you can actually talk about. So I will start with data must be accurate. So you have to state it. Data must be accurate. The next one is data must not be kept longer than necessary. Data must not be kept longer than necessary. Okay. Data must be processed in accordance, or data must be kept secure. Looking for the short ones. Data must be kept secured. Okay. What else? Data must not be transferred to another country. Must not be transferred to another country unless they also have adequate protection. They also have adequate protection. The age of the patient is stored on the patient medical record. Okay, explain why it is not sensible to store the age of the patient in the database. The reason why it's not good to store the age, let me give you one. Now, if my age is, okay, you guys think I was going to tell you, right? Okay, so if my age is 62, yes, I'm 62 years old. Most of you are shouting, Jesus, Mr. Ajiro, 62. Okay, all right, if my age is 62, and what happens next year when I'm 63? See that? Okay, so that is why the age is not sensible to do that, and this is the reason why. The age of the patient changes every year. That's one. And also, it simply means that the data will need to be updated regularly. Okay. Okay, and it's really time consuming to keep changing the age of the database. So that is why it's not ideal to store the age. Okay, so the data will need to be updated regularly. So that is why it's not. So I can just put this for others. Okay, others. Okay, the data would need to be updated regularly. Explain what change could be made to the database to solve this problem. Simple. Use the field date of birth. Remember, we have it as DMY. Okay. All right. The database includes primary and foreign key. The medical ID number is used as the primary key. It's used as the primary key in the database. Examples of the medical ID number includes, so these are the medical ID number. State 2 validation checks that will be used to check the medical what ID number. So this is chapter 7. Chapter 7, not 17. 17 is document production. Chapter 7, systems life cycle. Okay. So under the design, we have the validation routine. So validation check. So let's look at it. So what are we using for the ID? So we can use, now there is a space here. So we can use the format check to ensure it's the same. So I'm seeing a space here. Okay, so whether it's a space or a forward slash. Okay, so we have the format check. Okay, I can see that they both have the same number. So that's length check. Okay. So remember, you also see this in chapter 15 as well. Oh. You also see it in chapter 15. Okay, so it's not just only in chapter 7, right? Okay. So now look at it. Let me show you something. right here. Look at this right here. So here you see that the length, right? To check to see if the data input contains only the required number of length, because I was able to look at it and I said, okay, they have number of length. Format, they have the same format. And they also have type check, right? And the reason why I'm saying the type check is they're of the same type. So you can add for others. Okay, let me just put this as 3. So type check. Okay. What else do they have? Check digits here, check digits. So I'm just going to go with these 3. I'll just go with these 3, right? Describe the characteristics of a primary key and foreign key. Now you see this in chapter 18. Chapter 18, databases. Okay, so let's look at it. So the characteristics, so let's look at it. So I'll start with the primary key. So the primary key, one is what is unique. Again, it helps identify record. Okay, cannot be a null value. That simply means it cannot be empty. Okay, it helps create relationships. Now I've given more points than I should, so this will be others. Okay, now let's talk about the foreign key. Now for foreign key, you can have a null value. Okay, now is a key, take note, a key in a table which is a primary key, what you call your PK, foreign key is your FK, a primary key in another table. Okay, with a foreign key, it can enforce, right? Enforce referential integrity, which is something they brought in 2.1 for the database, because within the choice table, we're able to now enforce that referential integrity. And it is found, one can say it is found in a relational database. Okay, let me show you quickly what I'm talking about. Chapter 18. Yes. See, that is why it is important to read from chapter 1 to 21. Okay, so look at it right here. Key fields, primary key and foreign keys. Okay, so this holds unique data and the foreign key in one table that stores value from a primary key in another table. So it's very, very important. Okay. All right, so this brings us to the end of this video. So please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and if you have not enrolled yourself into the masterclass, trust me, you're missing a lot, because trust me, the major exam, we had fantastic result. I'm like, from A star, and our threshold is A star to A. So when we have a B, it reduces our percentage. That's why we have a 98%, because we had an A star to B, A star to A, and we had some students who had a B. And the threshold is always an A star or an A, because at the end of the day, we want to give out nothing but the best. So please Subscribe to our master classes to have an awesome experience, not just on ICT, but for every other subject. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.